Hello, everyone. My name is Rhoda Richardson Hicks, and I am a school psychologist.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Smith, and I'm the teacher on assignment for Student Support Services.
And today we will be sharing some great information with you about trauma informed care.
And in this training, we're going to be talking about what is trauma, understanding the impact of trauma, recognizing symptoms, how to help and respond to your child, parent self care, and we're going to provide you with some websites and resources that you can use.
So, in this next slide, we have a great video that we like to share with you. And the video shows you one type of traumatic experience. And in this particular video, it is domestic violence. But the impact of all traumatic experiences is universal. So it doesn't matter what type of trauma it is, it's universal as far as the impact of it. However, the good news is a caring adult, which is you, can step in and change the trajectory. The power is in your hands.
The itsy mousy spider climbed up the water slide. Down came the rain
I'm here. It's Grandpa's here. Okay, shh. I'm here now. Grandpa's here. I know you're scared. You're safe now. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. Now the eensy weensy spider climbed up the spout again.
So, what is trauma? Child traumatic stress is when children and adolescents are exposed to traumatic events or traumatic situations, and when this exposure overwhelms their ability to cope. And that could be many, many things.
Okay, so what can trauma look like? A serious accident, it could be witnessing violence, a home fire, divorce, or a parent incarcerated, homelessness. But some things that we don't normally think about as being traumatic is moving to a new city or a new school or the birth of a sibling. Those things are traumatic as well.
Understanding the impact and symptoms of trauma. So, trauma can impact brain development. Some of those symptoms of trauma include impaired memory. So, they have a hard time remembering. It could be short term or long term memory issues. Difficulty thinking and learning. That's why your child may have struggles or difficulty in school if there's been some trauma. Difficulty switching from one task to another. So it's hard for them to transition from doing one thing to another thing. So maybe your child struggles when they're doing an activity at home or in school and they throw a tantrum because they don't want to transition. Difficulty paying attention and focusing. difficulty following directions.
Another impact of trauma is the behavior. Fighting, your kid may be getting in trouble at school or fighting other students, fighting with siblings, running away in classroom, running out of the classroom, and it may be during a time of transition. Quick temper, they get angry quickly. Hyperactive, that also can be a behavior that is a symptom of trauma. And being withdrawn, very quiet, and doesn't say much. Another impact is emotions, their feelings. They have an issue with trusting, especially adults, anxiety, fearful, feeling unsafe, and attachment issues.
Health, life expectancy. If there's a significant amount of trauma growing up, oftentimes they're more prone to engage in risky behaviors, which could be substance abuse. They're more apt to having chronic illnesses like obesity, cancer, asthma, depression. If they haven't received the supports and from a caring individual like a parent or a guardian or a caregiver. So trauma impacts our kids and you as well in a variety of ways.
So, understanding your child's behavior. Parenting a traumatized child may require a shift from seeing a quote unquote bad child or bad kid to seeing a kid who has had bad things happen. So, as a parent, that's where you come in. You're there to make sure that your kid is safe. What matters is the support that you give them and the resources that you provide. And we are going to talk about many resources that we have in the county that we can provide for you.
And oftentimes we feel like, oh, my kid knows that I'm here to keep them safe. They know I'm going to protect them. Not always. That's an assumption that I used to make as a parent. And I make sure I say to my son, it's my job to keep you safe. It's my job to protect you. And mommy is going to do that. So don't you worry. I'm here for you. We need to literally say those words to our kids. Say it and then show them. Because as a parent, that's what we do. That's just who we are. But we need to make sure our kids know this beyond a shadow of a doubt. So here's a great video that puts in simple terms how the brain works. It's a great tool that you can share with your kids. Once you see the video and you practice this hand model of the brain, is something an activity that you can do with them to help them understand how the brain works. And it gives us an idea of why we do what we do when we get upset.
One of the most rewarding experiences for me has been to study brain science and apply it to the experience of parenting. And the hand model of the brain that I use to teach parents is very useful to understand that. So if you take your thumb and put it in the middle of your palm, put your fingers over the top, this is a very useful model of the brain. And when we can actually see in front of us what's going on in the brain, then we can change what the brain does. So let me walk you through very basically what happens in this brain and the structures in it. And it goes like this. The spinal cord comes up, representing the wrist, and then you have coming up into the skull, the brain stem and the limbic area, which work together to help regulate arousal and your emotions and the way you have a fight, flight, freeze response. These are below the cortex, the limbic and brainstem areas, and the cortex is this higher part of the brain that allows us to perceive the outside world, to think and reason. And this frontmost part of the brain, right behind your forehead, so the person's oriented like this, is actually the part that regulates the subcortical, limbic, and brainstem areas. This regulation is very important because sometimes we can have all sorts of things happen in our life. We're tired, we're exhausted, someone pushes a particular emotional button, and we can flip our lids. So rather than being tuned in and connected and balanced and flexible, we can lose all that flexibility, even lose moral reasoning, and act in ways that are terrifying to others, including our children. Now, you can actually bring yourself back online and come back to the high road and make a repair with your child. And that's important to explain to them. And you can also use this hand model of the brain to explain to children, even as young as 5 and 6, how to understand when their emotions are rising up from the brainstem and limbic areas here, and how it's overriding the prefrontal area and making it so they may be about to flip their lids. So I've had kids come tell me that they're about to go flip their lids and they need a break. They need a timeout. And by even just naming that, they can tame it. And that's the power of using the hand model for ourselves and our children to help us all make sense of what goes on in the emotional communication that we have in the course of day-to-day life.
I absolutely love that video. My favorite quote in there is, if you can name it, you can tame it. Oftentimes, our kids can't put a name to what they're feeling. They know happy, they know sad, they know angry. But what about frustration? What about annoyed? What about aggravated? So, giving them the language is really important so they can name what they're feeling, and then they can better understand it and tame it. So, how do you help your child? First, you learn to recognize symptoms of trauma in your child. And just a few slides back, we talked about symptoms: withdrawal, quick temper, um, inability to focus, pay attention. Those are all symptoms. Look for those symptoms and learn to recognize them. Seek help from a qualified mental health professional. There are resources out there. If you don't know where to turn, we have a ton of resources that we can provide. They're at the end of this presentation. And we also have a mental health department within the school district at our county office that you can reach out to and get more information and resources for mental health. Allow your child to express his or her fears and hopes verbally or through play. That's really important that you allow them to express what they're feeling, their dreams, their hopes, their fears, and they are free to do it non judgmentally. Reassure them that you will do your best to keep them safe, and maintain regular home routines. This is really important. The structure is really important. Try to keep it as consistent as possible. Kids are home all day now with you. Things are a lot different than they were before. If you haven't already, establish some routines, a schedule for the day so they know what to expect. That's really, really important to help them stay regulated, meaning calm and able to follow your directions, able to listen to you, able to do their work. It's really important to make a schedule, to set up routines, and to try to stick to them as much as possible, including bedtime routines. Stay with those, even though they don't have to get up early in the morning and catch a bus or you take them to school. Routines and structures are really important. A great way to help your child, easy way to help your child.
And also, parents, be patient because some children will recover quickly, but other children recover more slowly. So, your patience is very important for your child to help them by being patient. To listen to what they have to say. That values them, that makes them feel like that you care. Sharing your feelings. So, therefore, they know that feelings, that's a natural thing. So, then you're sharing your feelings that helps them to feel comfortable by sharing. Focus on the good. Focus on the good. Everyone has good things that they can do. So focus on those good things in your child. And the last thing, children who experience early childhood trauma do not just get over it. As a parent, you can help them to get over it by being patient, making them feel safe, and being supportive. Take
Take
care
care of
of your.
yourself. Talk to and spend time with a trusted friend. It's important. You cannot help your child if you aren't well emotionally and mentally. So take time, spend time with a trusted friend. You know that we're practicing social distancing. So FaceTime, WhatsApp them, use the technology out there on our cell phones, on our computers to reach out and talk to a trusted friend. Don't be afraid to seek support from a mental health professional. Again, there are lots of resources. You can contact our mental health department within the district, and there are resources not only for your child, but for you as well. Take some time for yourself. Practice mindfulness. That means stepping outside for 5 minutes to breathe in some fresh air, to walk around your neighborhood. Just a moment for you is really important. You want to focus on your own healing. If you've experienced trauma in your life, it's important that you also address that. Take care of yourself first. Focus on your healing so that you can be there to support and nurture and care for your child. Here are some great resources for taking care of yourself. We've included links to both of those. There's mindful parenting, giving you some great strategies on how to be a mindful parent. Here's a 5 minute guided meditation for beginners. Keep in mind, mindfulness and meditation go hand in hand, and meditation has nothing to do with religion or spirituality. It's only a way to focus, to get recentered, to get regulated, to calm yourself. That's the main idea of mindfulness and meditation. And here are some additional resources. If you're not new to mindfulness or meditation and it's something that you practice on a regular, the meditation self compassion for parents is a great one. And as you become more comfortable with it, please use this. They're very short. 1 minute breathing meditation for kids, great tool, an activity to do with your kids to help teach them mindfulness and meditation. It's not something that I normally do, but I've started doing it just today. I started my day with a 2 minute breathing activity. It was called gazing meditation, and it really helps get you grounded and focused. And it's a great tool to use when you're overwhelmed, when you're frustrated and you need that second to get away. Do a 1 minute, 2 minute mindfulness. Pick up your phone, let it guide you through it. I have no idea how to meditate and practice mindfulness. I get my phone and I follow one of the videos. It works.
And remember, the most important thing that parents need to understand is that the brain of their child will become exactly what the child was exposed to. That is the beauty of the human brain. It is the mirror to the child's developmental experience.
So, parents, model for them compassion, model for them empathy. Empathy is learned. We have to show them how to empathize. Model for them being able to take someone else's perspective. So if I say something mean to my husband and because I'm upset, understand what how my actions make him feel. And I need to come back and say, "You know what, honey? I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I was stressed out because I know if you would have said it to me, it would have made me really upset. And I'm sorry I said that." So, perspective taking, being able to see how and understand how something makes someone else feel or from a different viewpoint. So, it's all about modeling. And if we're modeling all these things to our kids, they're going to learn it and it's going to be become a part of their thinking just naturally if they're seeing it on a day-to-day basis.
And here we have some district resources and community resources that you can use, especially during this most challenging time. Please use these resources if you need them. And what's important right now, parents, is no more than ever, your child's mental health is more important than their grades. So, parents, they need you to be there to make them feel safe and supported. Thank you so much for your time. We hope that you enjoyed this and it'll be useful for you. And stay safe and take care.
Thank you.